Did you know that some everyday foods you eat after 60 may silently feed cancer cells inside your body? It's not all about bad luck or genetics. Many cancers are fed, not just formed. And the worst part? The foods that feed cancer cells are often the ones we trust the most. So here's the truth. You can't change your age, but you can change what's on your plate, and that one decision may protect you more than any pill. Here's something most people over 60 are never told. Over 40% of all cancer cases are preventable, and one of the most powerful ways to reduce your risk isn't hidden in a hospital. It's on your plate. That's right. While some cancers are linked to genetics or age, a surprising number are influenced by the foods we eat every single day. Not just because of calories or cholesterol, but because cancer isn't only a genetic disease, it's also a metabolic and immune system disease. Let me explain. For a single cancer cell to survive and spread, several things have to happen. First, it needs fuel, and its favorite fuel is glucose, the sugar your body makes from bread, sweets, and sodas. Next, it thrives on certain hormones, especially insulin and IGF-1. When these hormones are elevated too often, they act like grow signals, encouraging abnormal cells to divide faster. Third, cancer needs inflammation. Chronic inflammation breaks down the body's defenses, suppresses the immune system, and creates a friendly environment for disease to grow unchecked. And finally, it needs a blood supply. Cancer literally builds its own blood vessels, a process called angiogenesis, so it can pull in the nutrients it needs to spread. Here's the shocking part. Many common foods in the modern diet directly support all four of those cancer pathways. Not only that, they do it quietly, without symptoms, until it's too late. But here's the hope. Once you know which foods feed cancer cells, you also know which ones to limit, and more importantly, what to eat instead to fight back. In this video, we'll uncover 5 common foods that feed cancer cells, and why removing them from your diet after 60 could be the smartest move for your future health. Point 1. Sugar, cancer's favorite fuel. Let's start with the biggest offender. Sugar, often called the favorite fuel of cancer cells. Every time you eat sugary snacks, drink soda, or consume refined carbs like white bread or pastries, your blood sugar rises. In response, your body releases insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar into your cells. That's normal, but when it happens too often, it becomes a problem. Why? Because cancer cells love sugar. They're like broken engines. They don't burn fuel efficiently, so they demand more of it, more often. And what they crave most is glucose, the very sugar that floods your system after eating processed carbs. It doesn't stop there. High insulin levels don't just feed cancer, they also send growth signals, telling abnormal cells, go ahead, multiply. That's why elevated insulin and IGF-1 levels are linked to cancers like breast, colon, and pancreas. But the danger isn't just about fuel or growth, it's about inflammation. Sugar triggers chronic inflammation, the kind that simmers quietly in your body and wears down your immune defenses. And when your immune system weakens, it's less able to spot and destroy rogue cells before they turn into something worse. Here's a simple way to picture it. Cancer is like a broken-down car it shouldn't move. But if you keep pouring in premium fuel sugar, it'll still run, quietly, until it's too late. So what can you do? Start with easy swaps. Replace white rice with quinoa or lentils. Skip the soda, try herbal teas, or lightly sweetened water with lemon. If you crave something sweet, reach for ripe fruit like bananas or blueberries, rich in fiber and antioxidants. Remember, Every meal is a chance to feed your body or feed the disease. Choose wisely. Point 2. Aflatoxins, the hidden mold toxin in nuts and dairy. Now let's talk about something that sounds harmless, but isn't. Aflatoxins. Aflatoxins are toxic substances produced by molds that grow on certain crops, especially peanuts, almonds, pistachios, corn, and even dairy products. What makes them dangerous? They're among the most powerful naturally occurring carcinogens ever identified, and studies have linked them directly to liver cancer. As we age, our liver, the body's main detox organ, naturally loses some of its efficiency. That means older adults are more vulnerable to toxin buildup, and aflatoxins can silently accumulate over time if we're not careful. So where do they hide? The most common sources are nuts from warm, humid regions, especially if they were poorly stored or transported. Think of products like peanut butter, almond butter, or mixed nuts sold in bulk. Even milk can be contaminated when cows are fed moldy grain. The aflatoxins pass into their milk, particularly in unpasteurized or raw dairy. Unfortunately, aflatoxins have no smell, no taste, and you can't see them without a microscope. But there's good news. You can reduce your risk dramatically with a few smart habits. Choose nuts grown in cooler, drier regions like the US or Europe. Inspect them. Avoid any that are discolored, shriveled, or smell musty. Buy in small batches and eat within 30 days. Roast your nuts. Light roasting can reduce aflatoxin levels. And avoid unregulated raw milk or dairy from unknown sources. The takeaway? Nuts and milk aren't the enemy. But for older adults, the quality and origin of these foods matter more than ever. Your liver works hard every day. Help it out, don't make it fight invisible enemies alone. Point 3. Processed and grilled red meats. Next on the list is something that's loved at cookouts, but may quietly harm your health if eaten too often: processed and grilled red meat. Foods like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, ham, and barbecued beef or pork may seem like harmless indulgences. But when we look closely, there are hidden dangers worth understanding, especially after 60, when the body becomes more vulnerable to cell damage. The first issue lies in the preservatives, specifically nitrites, used to cure and flavor processed meats. Inside your stomach, nitrites can turn into nitrosamines, chemical compounds that have been strongly linked to stomach and colon cancer. But that's not the only concern. When meat is grilled, fried, or barbecued at high heat, it creates substances called HCAs, heterocyclic amines, and PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These chemicals can damage DNA and promote mutations, setting the stage for cancer cells to grow. That doesn't mean you need to give up meat altogether. Moderation is key. If you enjoy red meat, opt for lean cuts and try boiling, steaming, or slow cooking instead of high-temperature grilling or frying. Always pair meat with fiber-rich vegetables. They help sweep harmful compounds from the digestive tract and support your body's natural detox process. You might also consider plant-based proteins like beans or lentils a few times a week. They're gentle on digestion and come packed with nutrients and cancer-fighting antioxidants. The goal isn't restriction, it's protection. After 60, every small shift toward gentler, cleaner food helps your body stay resilient. And remember, the way we cook our food matters just as much as what we eat. Point 4. Alcohol and cancer risk. Let's talk about something many people still see as harmless or even healthy in small amounts: alcohol. While an occasional glass may seem relaxing, especially in social settings, it's important to understand what alcohol actually does once it enters the body, especially after age 60, when your liver isn't as quick or efficient at detoxifying as it used to be. When alcohol is processed in the liver, it turns into acetaldehyde, a highly toxic compound that damages DNA and prevents the body from repairing it properly. This damage builds up over time and can lead to the development of cancer, especially in tissues that come into direct contact with alcohol, like the mouth, throat, and esophagus. It doesn't stop there. Alcohol also interferes with how your body absorbs vital nutrients, especially vitamin B1, thiamine, and folate, both essential for brain health, energy metabolism, and DNA repair. A deficiency in these nutrients further increases your risk of cell damage, cognitive decline, and weakened immunity. That's why alcohol is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization, meaning there's strong evidence it causes cancer in humans. But here's the good news. You don't need to quit entirely to protect your health. Start by cutting back slowly. Replace that nightly glass of wine with pomegranate juice diluted with water, a cold glass of coconut water, or even herbal tea that soothes the body. If you still enjoy the occasional wine, limit it to 100 milliliters per serving, no more than once or twice per week. Your body already works hard every day, especially your liver. Give it fewer toxins to process and more time to heal. Point 5. Fiber deficiency, the silent threat. You might not hear about it often, but one of the biggest silent threats to seniors' health is something most people don't even notice: a lack of fiber. As we age, we often eat less overall, and when meals center around meat or processed foods, fiber-rich vegetables, beans, and fruits are quietly pushed aside. Over time, this creates a dangerous gap in your diet. Why does that matter? Because fiber isn't just about digestion, it's one of your body's strongest natural defenses against colon cancer. Without enough fiber, food moves more slowly through your digestive tract, allowing toxins and waste to linger longer than they should. This can irritate the colon lining, lead to chronic inflammation, and increase the risk of colorectal cancer, a growing concern after 60. Low-fiber diets are also linked to diverticulitis, constipation, weakened gut bacteria, and even poor immune function. Your gut is more than a digestive pipe. It's a protective wall that needs the right nutrients to function properly. The good news? You don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. Small additions make a big difference. Try this rule of thumb. At every meal, include at least one handful of leafy greens, a small bowl of beans or lentils, or a piece of fruit rich in fiber, like pears or apples. Even adding a sprinkle of chia seeds or flax seeds to your breakfast can support your colon health. You don't need expensive supplements. You just need real food in the right balance. Because after 60, feeding your gut well isn't just about avoiding discomfort. It's about staying healthy, regular, and protected day after day. Emotional message. After 60, every meal you eat becomes more than just fuel. It's no longer about simply filling your stomach. It's about protecting your future, preserving your independence, and giving your body the strength it needs to face each new day. The choices we make at the dinner table ripple through our entire life. And while we can't change our genetics or undo the past, we can change what we choose to eat today and tomorrow. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. It's about giving yourself the gift of health, one bite at a time. You don't need to follow a complicated diet. You don't need to give up everything you love. You just need to know which foods quietly feed cancer cells and which ones fight back. So start small. Today, skip the sugary soda and try a warm cup of herbal tea. Skip the charred red meat and reach for steamed vegetables or a simple lentil stew. Toss in a handful of berries with breakfast. Add beans to your salad. Every tiny choice is a quiet act of strength. Because after 60, your meals matter more than ever, not just for you, but for the people who love you, for the grandchildren who want to see you laugh, for the spouse who wants to grow old with you, for the version of you that still wants to thrive, not just survive. Food is not the enemy, but when used carelessly, it can feed the very thing we fear. Used wisely, it becomes your best line of defense. Every bite is a decision. Every meal is a chance to heal. Thank you for spending time with us today. If this video helped you rethink even one thing on your plate, that's a step toward a better future. Don't forget to subscribe to Elders Living Better, where we share trusted, science-backed health tips to help you live stronger, wiser, and healthier one day at a time. We're here for your journey. Let's thrive together.